Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast. My name's JJ.
And I'm Graham.
And we have a name, I think, officially.
Think so.
I think we pitched back and forth some ideas. Might have used ChatGPT and Copilot for some other ideas. But the Dink Tank podcast is the name, I think, that we both kind of settle on. That was good for this because Graham is part of this. And I didn't want this to just be the JJ Pickleball podcast. I know John Q went through something similar with originally it was John Q and obviously Eddie's there. So wanted to have something just neutral name for the both of us because Graham is, like I said, an equal part of this podcast. And we also are going to be having a clips channel where Graham will be running certain segments, certain paddle reviews, maybe some paddles that I can't cover fully that we talk about on the podcast. And we're going to post over there. But yeah,
I'm excited. I think it'll be cool. We'll get some cool merch made, have some intros made. So I think it'll be fun.
Yeah, my buddy Mike will be on that, but he's a little busy with work right now. But I'm looking forward to what he can come up there. But we took a little bit of a break. I definitely haven't posted any videos in the last like 2.5, 3 weeks, which is the longest I've gone in a while.
Yeah. We had the holidays and then I got sick and
you went to New York.
So I haven't played much pickleball either. I played today and I played on New Year's. That was the last time I had played.
Right on.
Which is crazy, but I know you've still been playing a good amount, so.
Yeah, it was interesting because I know Chris, he highlights obviously a pickleball studio of like taking a break in January and like the burnout and whatever. And obviously he's been doing this a lot longer at a much higher level, higher quality, puts a lot into obviously the videography side of it as well. But I can't say I was ever near burnout, but I didn't think I was going to be taking these, let's say, 2 weeks off, but because I was still playing a ton of pickleball. It was interesting, though, not having to record. And there were some games I did just because there's a couple paddles that were coming out that I'd been using and that we got. And I'm like, I might as well throw a camera up. But it was nice, like, not having to review something. It was more of just like, I'm going to play pickleball. And yes, there's some content behind the scenes, but like, there's no video I'm working on right now. So it was a good little reset. Pickleball was definitely fun. I played really well for like 3 days straight. And then I think staying up late and working on some other things, catching up with some friends, a couple of date nights, but just, I played also one of the worst days, I think, of pickleball in a long time. And actually I met a subscriber at the local club at Center Court. And I was like, oh gosh. I mean, I wasn't playing that bad, but I was definitely slow. Like in hands battles, my backhand flick, I was just like, chicken winging on. I don't know what stuff I'd never done before. And I'm like, oh man, okay, I probably need to actually get some good sleep and reset and also maybe take like a day or two off. So I did that. Ended up going to the Masters, which was right when you got back.
Yeah.
So it made us filming a little bit difficult, but it was also, again, I think nice to have a little reset and also you got sick. So it gave you some time.
For sure. Yeah. How was the Masters?
It was a blast. So it was the first time I went. I know I had mentioned on the podcast, I want to attend all of the majors this year. I don't know if I'm going to be able to go to Atlanta.
Yeah.
We'll see. Because that's the only one I probably won't, because Spawn Blue will probably play in again, or I'll definitely be playing in, make sure schedules work. And then definitely be going back to Worlds this year. And hopefully you and I are playing that this year. But yeah, it was an absolute blast. It was really cool seeing the all white, the tradition, whatever. Obviously I come from golf. So that Masters obviously is a big deal. Obviously, pickleball is a lot newer, but it was just kind of cool seeing some of the tradition there, seeing, like I said, all the people dress up like that. It was packed. I got there on Saturday afternoon, and I think I counted around like 1,000 people around Championship Court between VIP, the grandstands, and then just kind of the normal bleachers. So that was cool. Walked around a lot of the amateur matches, ran into some of our Arizona friends there that were competing. Some Arizona juniors did very well.
Yeah, there was a ton of Arizona people on the podium this week.
Yeah, it was really cool, but just kind of being able to just be as a spectator again, because the last couple PPAs I'd played in, and like last year when I was really getting like starting to nerd out about pickleball, I was just traveling. Like I went to Red Rock just to watch, the Desert Ridge the last 2 years, which we went to just to watch last year. Went to Mesa and Kansas City. I did PPA the year before, and then I just watched MLP last year. So it was nice to kind of go as just a spectator again. I did film some content. I did kind of a vlog. I don't know that. I talked to some pros. that'll be coming out soon. I need to get the Worlds video out first. I want to do that in chronological order because otherwise the Worlds video is never going to come out. So I need to work on that. Hopefully that'll come out this week, and then I'll have my Masters video. But yeah, it was really, really cool to kind of just be in that atmosphere. First event of the year. So a lot of people, some people have taken some breaks. Some news kind of was breaking this week with partners. Maybe this is the last week, brand switching. So a lot to jump into.
It was funny, back on the tradition of wearing all white. I was talking to someone today who was playing pro qualifiers, and he thought that like off-white, like he didn't think it was that serious.
Yeah.
And he was playing through and he was like, I had to go to Walmart and buy like white. Like it had to be like white. Yeah. So thought that was funny.
It was cool. I'm assuming, because I saw people not wearing it, that the amateur division didn't have that strict of rules.
It's just the pros.
But where I was going with that is, I would say more than half of the amateurs were also doing all white.
Yeah.
So it was really cool to see. I may have brought my new toy. I got a drone for Christmas, which I bought, but my parents chipped in a little bit as my kind of main gift for this year. But yeah, it was a blast. I've been having a lot of fun with that, filming some content. But I got some aerial shots of just kind of the venue. Because one of the series I kind of want to do this year, which is one of the other reasons I want to do in the Masters, is I kind of want to highlight just some of the PPA events, as well as hopefully an APP event this year, as well as anything else that comes up that is worth covering. But just like, what does it look like as a spectator? If you haven't been, especially if, like I said, this is a major, what's it like? What can you expect? So I just kind of got some aerial view, a lot of footage around, just kind of, like I said, what the venue looked like, as well as just asking some of the pros what their favorite thing about the Masters was.
Yeah.
So it should be not too long of a video, short vlog. I just wanted to do something, but it was cool. I also got media passes, so I was able to be on the court on Championship Sunday. So I got some really cool footage. I'll put some of that in the video as well. Might put some of that as B-roll over this part as well. But
yeah,
it was a blast. I highly recommend. The only two downsides, I'll get into it here, is the shuttle was a bit of an issue. So most people, you can't park on the facility because it's within Mission Hills Country Club, I believe is what it was called. So they had people park at the local casino, and then they shuttled people over. And they had buses running every 10 minutes, but there was a lot of people attending, and the buses weren't like large. They were like kind of those medium-sized buses. And like the line to leave was very long. And I remember on Saturday night, because I took the shuttle that day, legitimately we were in line and they're like, oh my God, it's going to be 2 more buses before like we can go. And they crammed all of us on. They had everybody standing and in like the doorway with the stairs, and people like next to the driver. I'm like, this is definitely not safe.
Yeah. That's crazy.
But I'm sure the driver, like, it was late. Like I said, people wanted to get home. Yeah. So I understood it, but that's the one thing I could see needs improvement, is either more buses or just larger buses. Outside of that, bathroom situation was great. Courts were great. Oh, the only other one you can't control is the wind. The wind was terrible. And I know it's just the weather changing. Arizona got hit with it. Las Vegas got hit with it. I was checking kind of all over this region. Obviously, the wildfires in California, it's a big issue as well. But just, yeah, it was absolutely brutal, I heard, on like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Yeah.
Friday, it kind of calmed down. Saturday wasn't that bad. And then Sunday afternoon was bad. So the only matches that really got super affected, I think, were singles and obviously all the amateur divisions, because the main venue for Championship Court was down. Oh. So a lot of the wind was kind of blocked, but those palm trees were moving.
Yeah,
so
I'm sure.
But yeah, that's kind of the summary of the Masters. Like I said, really good time. Hopefully we can play in it next year.
Yeah. I was watching it and I was like, that. Yeah. Gotta go to that one.
It was really cool. And like I said, it's not too far either. Easy drive. Yeah. Had the car drive me the entire way there and entire way back.
There you go.
Thank you, Tesla, for full self-driving for the month for free. But yeah, and then obviously we hinted at some news and some other stuff that we had briefly talked on. If you want to lead the next segment of just some of the things that happened.
There was a lot. I feel like every time I logged on to Instagram, there was a new clip of something that happened. Were you there when Ben?
I was not on the court.
You weren't on the court?
Obviously, my phone was blowing up about it. And then it was really, really entertaining of me being there. And when stuff happened, like you would text me, and it's like just having the TV side. Cause I remember you saying, like, I was telling you like some of the points on Sunday I was watching, and you're like, oh, it's coming on ESPN2 and like at 1 or something like that.
Yeah.
And you're like, I want to make sure to like log on and watch it. And it was really fun kind of like texting with some people back here and then also being there in person.
It sucked. I got busy at work from 1 to 3.
Oh.
So I turned it on, and I think the mix match was about to start right before it turned on ESPN. And then as I got it on, Ben and Colin finished.
And just to clarify, he's not slacking off. He kind of has his own business.
Yeah, I was just working.
Yeah, but it's not like he's sitting at a desk job and he's slacking off.
Oh yeah, no.
We have a
TV that usually plays sports. Most people wanted to watch the NFL playoffs. I tried to get it off. It didn't quite work. But
I'm just like, I see someone in the comments like, oh, pickleball while at work.
Hey, I saw Kyle watching pickleball on his lunch break.
That's funny. But yeah, I was gonna say. You want to actually, let's jump to just order wise the out call first, because that technically happened first.
Yeah, so
let's go with that one.
Klinger and Ignatowicz. I think it was the round 64. I think it was the first game.
Yeah.
Clearly
kind of.
I mean,
from the one angle, from the close angle.
Their view, I get it.
Yeah.
Like you're turning your head. I think it's a hard call to make from that view. From the back angle, it looks like it was inside the white, like from the camera facing.
Oh no, yeah. It looked like it hit the front part of the white from behind. Yeah. The behind camera of where the ball landed to closest. But from the other camera angle, which you and I were freeze framing from online, the two angles.
Yeah.
Which is also interesting from the side that obviously got upset. From their side, it looked out.
Yeah.
Like when you see where the ball bounces, it looks like there's a gap, which is crazy that's possible.
Yeah.
But from the close angle,
when you
from behind, it clearly was in.
Yeah. Well, yeah. When you freeze framed even the front, you could tell it was in. But what was funny was just the outburst. Just
massive.
He starts yelling at him, and he's like, "You guys are ridiculous. You guys are ridiculous. You guys are unbelievable." And then he's like, "Not you, CJ."
Out of nowhere.
Him. And he was talking about James Ignatowicz, but...
Not you, CJ, but he is.
Because I think they have some beef prior to this.
They must.
That's what I heard. I think that's ongoing.
I mean, you don't say you guys are ridiculous and then say, not you, CJ.
He was going on for a while and like and granted, understandable. Like I said, they got the call wrong.
Yeah.
And also CJ did apologize.
Yeah, he apologized in the comments.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it was pretty, and it wasn't like just oh, I'm sorry, I got it wrong. Like you could tell, like he was like, I'm sorry, we got that one wrong completely. Like,
yeah,
you could tell he actually meant it.
Yeah.
Which is funny. I mean, obviously we have been around CJ a little bit. He's a pretty good guy.
Yeah,
he's like saw him today drilling a little bit, but yeah, it's. Anyways, but the reason why I wanted to start with that is that was the whole news cycle for like a day and a half.
Yeah.
And then he got saved by something way bigger that went viral, which was Ben Johns with Quang.
Yeah, just trying to take his head off. I don't quite know what that was even about, really.
I mean, I have some speculation.
Because they were winning like 10-1, right?
No. So, okay, so maybe I have this wrong, but this was the information I didn't know when I was watching that and when I was first told it. So I saw it, and if you haven't seen it, I'll put it up. But it's the second game. I believe it was like the second or third point.
Oh, okay.
And there was just a rally, whatever. Ball kind of gets dinked, reset by Quang. And Ben just full swings it. And this ball hits like the bleachers behind on a line drive. Yeah. Ben's probably never hit a ball from below the net harder.
Yeah.
And my speculation when I heard that is Quang speeds up a lot. He drives a lot. He does it in singles. It's frustrated Ben. He's beat Ben in the singles. He does it in doubles. And we know Colin and Ben play more of a traditional style. Obviously, they've adapted.
Yeah.
Clearly it worked. We'll get to that. But it's like they play more of, the wear you down game, dink you, make you miss, and then, they're going to put the ball away. Quang doesn't play that, but he's found success. And obviously, Quang can do everything.
I guess, last time they met each other, it was
it
was a pure beatdown by Klinger and Dog. And I mean, when we were talking to Klinger tonight, he was like, one of the guys was like, you body bag more than anybody, so you better watch out.
Literally, yeah. But it's just, so my interpretation is Ben's obviously just frustrated with the way he plays the game.
Yeah.
And I'm like, he's just giving him a taste of his own medicine. What I didn't realize is that they pickled them the first game, and then I think we're up 2-0.
Ben.
Yeah.
Colin, yeah.
Ben and Colin they pickled them the first game, and then we're up 2-0.
Yeah.
That's what made no sense to me.
Yeah.
Now, if it was a close game, and like I said, and obviously there's been some tension all of last year, like again, unexcusable because it looked a little worse because Quang ducked. So it gets a little more head level. But still, like, I mean, if you're going to be so annoyed by other people doing that and then you go over the top with it, it was definitely a cold edit, as everyone's been saying online. Like, it looks cool, but like the reality of it, it's like that's kind of an issue. It's
kind of dangerous, yeah.
It's like you have talked about the danger of pickleball, like I said, of a lot of this. Like I said, obviously, protection has been a big subject. He's using a Joola Gen 3S. It's like, it's a hot paddle.
Yeah.
And it's just like, for you to kind of give in, it's like the whole thing of like, you know, be better than your enemy. If like you're considering speed ups and drives and everything like that being a big issue. And it's like, Ben wins. Ben doesn't need to, like, I feel like, stoop down to that.
Especially after like you said, after you pickled somebody.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like, it's not like you were losing. Like if they had lost game one and then there was like a constant net switch happened in another match. Oh my gosh, the bronze medal match, Augie and Jame were playing
Diascu
and Alshon, and I have never seen more net cords against Alshon and Diascu. They ended up winning. I think they lost game one and then won game 2 and 3. It was absurd, the amount. And obviously, like I said, Jame and Augie, both great guys. Absolutely love watching them. Augie, we've seen at the local court, but it's like, they're not controlling it. But I was like, I felt bad for Diascu, and
yeah, that's funny.
It was like, oh my gosh, and Alshon, it was a little tough to watch. Like I said, they still ended up winning, so it wasn't. But anyways, but it's like if there's a bunch of net cords, and like I said, off those speed ups and drives, it's like, okay, I can understand that being frustrated because we know we've seen Colin just absolutely rip into it. It's like that's not a shot. Like on the sidelines, I saw Matt Worlds do this against Quang actually. Now this was a mixed, but like Quang speeding up balls off the bounce super below the net, and Colin on the bench just yelling at the stands. And it's like, that's not a ball you speed up. That's the lowest percentage in pickleball. And it's like, so obviously it frustrates them, but it's like, you're beating them.
Yeah.
And it's also not like, if you got body bagged a bunch of times too, it's like, okay, like I said, you want to send a message. I get it. But like, that was a little bit too much of a message.
You're sending a message before anything else has happened, which is just weird.
Because it's like I said, I get both sides. Like I get, like I said, that there is gamesmanship. There is the like, if you're going to do this to me, I'm going to absolutely take your head off. That mentality, but like not actually take your head off. Because
and if they weren't doing it, obviously they weren't. If they didn't get any points,
that's what I'm saying. It's not like it's so. This
just weird.
It shocked me he did it in this event. If he did it last year, I would have been like, yeah, Quang does that all the time.
For the most part, Ben stays pretty calm. Like Colin. Tends to lose his mind, but like Ben is usually pretty. He usually lets being the number one player in the world speak for itself.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. It's like, and obviously they ended up winning. Yeah, it's like you didn't need to do this. Yeah, you were up. You were probably pretty clearly going to win this match, and then you won the whole thing. It's like you're the number one player in the world. You know,
he's the number
one player in the world. Obviously, rankings are a little skewed just because of singles and Colin technically, but.
I think he's still the number one. I think he's back over.
But anyways, it's like, number one player of the world in the last couple of years. It's like, you don't need to do that. And like I said, part of me likes as a fan that he doubled down on it in his press conference. It's like, like part of me respects that. But like, again, it's just, the other half of me, I'm like, why are you doing this? You're just causing controversy. That was good for pickleball and us. Like we're talking about it, and obviously it went viral. So it got some exposure, but I don't know. I don't think that was the best look, but also, again, it's sports. Yep. It's sports. There's money on the line. There's contracts, and there's a title. Yep. Like emotions get high. That's a good thing for sports, but I don't think it was the right place or time for Ben to do it in this circumstance.
I agree. Do you want to go stick with Quang for a second?
Yeah, let's do that since we're just talking about him.
Yeah, so Quang was playing mixed with Paris Todd. I don't remember exactly who he was playing. Might have been Georgia Johnson. I don't remember. It was someone
using a new paddle.
Yeah, it was someone. But I think they were down 2-6, and he calls a timeout, walks over to the bench. He was using the new Selkirk paddle because they can only use the one. Right?
Yeah, the Lab 008 is the only one that's
Selkirk approved. He picked up it was a Proton.
Blacked out Proton.
Anybody that was curious.
Completely Sharpied.
Yeah, he Sharpied all the
logo designs.
All the logos.
Not
everything that said Proton. It's a bright pink and blue paddle.
Well, not only that too,
and it's brand new.
The lines across the top, I don't think he Sharpied.
Nope.
He just Sharpied.
Everyone knew what paddle it was. It's
a loud paddle.
Yeah, it's a very loud paddle. He switches it at, I think they might have ended up winning. Maybe not. I'm not sure exactly. But midway through the game, he switched, and there was controversy earlier in the week that Selkirk sued him.
Sent a cease and desist, I believe.
Yeah. But, so everyone was saying he got served with papers to sue him on the court.
Yeah.
They did say they were not suing him, but he had to stop because he's posted some videos using other Joola's, Protons. I don't know if there's been any other he's posted.
Because from what I've heard behind the scenes, the two paddle, like he's testing a lot of paddles because obviously he's trying to get a bigger contract.
Yep.
It's a bigger name. Obviously, pickleball's growing in like Vietnam and Japan and a lot of some other Asian countries. Obviously, PPA is trying to expand out there as well. I know India has a big league, I think, also. So it's like there's a big market out there.
Yeah.
I know we have some Vietnam fans. And obviously, Proton had an event out there. So
his contract's not up till April, though.
So that's why I said I'll pivot here real quick. So his contract's not up yet. So I'm like, I don't know why you just don't write it out. It's not like you have a whole nother year and it's like, you can make a lot more. So you're trying to get out of it. It's like, I feel like you could just wait 3 months.
Yeah. And if anything, it gives you bad publicity.
Exactly.
If you do it to one company, another company is going to be like,
like I said, if it was a longer contract and again, undervalued, I'm still of the belief if you sign a contract, you need to fulfill it. Now, like I said, you can go back to say Selkirk and say, hey, I'd love to renegotiate, maybe sign an extension and then get more money overall. Mm-hmm. I mean, obviously you see this in sports all the time.
I think it's also hard though, because it's like they're being limited to one paddle. And it's like, even if it is a good paddle, which we haven't hit it yet, but
I have briefly.
You've hit it, but it's like not everybody likes the same paddle. Yeah. It's like you have a bunch of pros. I mean, I think Sock seems to like it a lot.
I mean,
there's a lot of players who seem to like the paddle a lot, but it's just not going to be for everybody. The same paddle's not going to be good for everybody.
I mean, we talked about this. It's like, I don't want that to sound too harsh, but it's like Selkirk finally came out with a paddle that's like up to par with some of the other brands on the PPA. And now is when Selkirk decides to make, like I said, their big stand, which some other issues on that. I'm just waiting on more information. If you didn't know, like Selkirk obviously had a couple interviews. They went on the Pickleball Studio podcast and also did a bit with John Q and basically kind of just voiced their opinion on what's going on with PPA behind the scenes, just a lot of things they're unhappy with. And it looked like they were fully going to pull their funding and like their marketing, everything. And that already had happened. Because I mentioned to you at Worlds, the Labs nets from Selkirk were not the nets being used. Yeah. And they were obviously one of the title sponsors and had been used for as long as I remember. The Selkirk nets were back this week.
Yeah, I saw they were back.
And I was a little confused. Obviously, one of the big controversies was, and I'll catch everybody up to speed very briefly, PPA has contracts with players. Selkirk has contracts with players.
Yeah.
Selkirk was basically threatening with a bunch of other brands to boycott the UPA-A, which is under the same umbrella as the PPA and MLP. They wanted to pull out. I was like, this is a good thing. Not that I'm anti-PPA. Like I love PPA events, but there are some things about the UPA I have some issues with.
Yep.
We're going to get some answers on that shortly. Like I said, I want to open that up for discussion and have some open dialogue that maybe could change my opinion or just, like I said, voice some of those opinions myself. But as things stand now, I have some issues. And I was very happy when Selkirk released their first letter and then their second letter with all those companies. And then they still did it. And like I think my issue is like, just be transparent of it's like, we don't want to do this. We're going to have to.
Yeah.
And because
we got to stand by our contracts with our pros.
Yeah. And like, I get that. Like, I completely understand that. But the problem is like the way I interpreted both those interviews is that we're done. We're not giving them another dime. And then literally 2 days later, they did.
Yeah.
And they probably were forced to, because like, again, they have their pros and they need to service them and they have to have some paddle. And as we mentioned, they only approved one paddle. So they didn't give the UPA all of that money for every individual paddle to be passed. But it's just like,
But there were also rumors that they did
what?
approve every paddle.
From what I've seen, it's only the 008. That's what I heard this week.
On that list, though.
Well, so what I think happened there, and again, I could be wrong, because I know some other brands that did this, is they certified the paddles like first before the end of the year.
Okay.
And then there was another thing where you had to pay an additional...
Pro certified.
Yeah, you have to pay like an additional $50,000 again, plus another marketing thing, which got thrown in last minute, which Selkirk was voicing on those podcasts. And it's just like, no wonder they're upset. And a lot of these other brands like don't want to have any part of this, especially if you only have one pro or like no pros. It's like, why would you ever sign this?
Yeah. Well, like Vatic Pro with Augie, it's like,
what?
Who else?
But then, like, so Augie in the bronze medal match, and I talked to him. He switched back to the Vatic Prism. Obviously, a lot of reviewers really love the Saga. I think it's a very good paddle. It's not my favorite, but it's a very solid paddle. I definitely think it's an improvement over the Prism. But he just said he loves the control of that. He's been using that for 2 years, so he switched back. That's what he wants to use. Part of it also might be that it's easier to Sharpie. Because he had to, just similar to Quang, completely black out his Vatic Prism flash. But the thing I had an issue with is, okay, you're blacking out his paddle. He had Vatic Pro on his hat and on his white shirt.
Yeah.
Why is the paddle an issue, but then he can wear the clothes? It's just in a weird spot right now. And I get the direction UPA is trying to go, but it's odd.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's odd. And Selkirk, like I said, it looked like they were going to make a stand. I want competition. I think competition is healthy. Obviously, there's the APP tour. If Selkirk really wanted to put their money where their mouth is, I would have liked to have seen them go all in on the APP tour. Yeah. Again, not me rooting against the PPA, but I think the APP having some more sponsorship money, and then the PPA, which there was also some controversy of them needing a bridge loan. And then I've also talked to some other people, and it's like, there's raising capital. Obviously, there's two sides of that. I'm sure in the next couple of months, we'll know what the actual case is, or at least at the end of this year. Because we know MLP has had some troubles with some of their owners in terms of wanting to sell and not being able to. And this is going to be a big year for MLP and PPA. But all in all, Selkirk's back. They paid. The other thing we learned too is that if you sponsor and give marketing money, like actual marketing money to the PPA, you don't need to pay these paddle certifications or like to have your paddle approved for the marketing. So like apparently in past years you were just credited. I don't know. There's things, and this is another thing Selkirk brought up. Things are changing by the week. Like PPA or the UPA is just changing the rules by the week. Hopefully we get some clarity. Like I said, obviously the Masters ran smoothly. Players didn't seem like, especially like I said, Augie being the main one with Vatic, who I don't believe they paid. I could be incorrect, but the last I heard they didn't pay and he still used the paddle. Yeah. So there was no issue for him to still be at the event. Obviously he's a big name, big personality. We like him, great guy. It's like, it's just, it'll be interesting to kind of see what unfolds over the next couple months. Yep. Oh,
last big thing out of the week.
No, we didn't finish actually our Quang segment. we went off on a side tangent. So basically, Quang has been using a bunch of paddles. Yeah. And it's unclear of who he's going to sign with. Yep. It seems like the two paddles he's drawn the most to, if it's not the Lab 008, is the Proton Project Flamingo. Yep. Or the Joola Gen 3S, or the next iteration of the Joola paddle. From what I've heard, that's what's been in and out of his bag the most. I know he hit some other stuff, but and again, it's like obviously he's looking for a new contract. He's a very valuable asset, but just to close it off, it's like if your contract's up, we know a couple other pros that are in a similar boat. It's like if your contract's up in April, it's like I feel like you could have waited out. But I mean, if he doesn't like the 008, I get it. But
it is hard when you sign with the idea that you can use all these paddles of the biggest brand in pickleball, and then they're like, you can use one.
And Selkirk wants to support Quang. Yeah, no, I have no doubt in that.
Absolutely.
It's just, like I said, their compromise was we have pros. I'm guessing we have pros. We have to have them play something. And in our opinion, that's the best paddle they have to offer. Yeah. Like the one that I thought.
But it's like Augie with the Prism. It's so Quang, Ignatowicz, like they've used the Power Air for years. Mm-hmm.
And are just forced to use something now.
The week before, it's like, hey, you get to use this now. And
I wonder how much of a heads up they got.
Yeah.
Because I mean, we
had it at
talked-
Worlds, so and they could have had it for a while.
we can jump into this. Because I was gonna say, kind of just segue. Like I interviewed James. Obviously, he's dealing with some injuries. He's got, I think, a back issue right now. He had an MRI. He's talking to some of the pros about it, and I could tell he was frustrated. Part of it, obviously, I think with his injury probably being the majority of it. The other part of it, maybe some of the situation we're talking with.
Yeah.
But it's interesting seeing kind of where these pros are gonna shake out in all this.
Yeah, it'll be a big year for people moving, and like you said, the sport's getting bigger, money is getting bigger.
Yeah.
People want to be the main person of their companies. So,
And on top of that too, like I said, you want to have control of your equipment.
Yeah.
Like I said, this was a last minute. Like I said, Selkirk, like I said, they at least gave them a lifeline and, in my opinion, a good paddle, but it's not what everyone's used to. Like I said, I think it's thermoformed. I could be wrong. Might be Gen 3. We're maybe going to have those shortly. Be able to hit them more. Like I said, I hit them briefly, but they weren't telling me at all what was the internals of the paddle.
Yeah.
All I know is it hit hard. Sweet spot was much better than the majority of their paddles, especially the 007. But yeah, it's tough. But then also, like I said, just also close this other thing off because I don't know if I did. It's like if Selkirk would have just said, we don't want to do this, but up front, we're going to have to at least prove one paddle to honor our players. I feel like their message just wasn't, like maybe I interpreted it wrong, but the two I listened to, I mean, they were long podcasts, and I know some of that was clipped up because they were even longer than what they put out, but I wish there was a little bit more clarity rather than just ripping and then 2 days later it looking like you go back on everything you just said.
yeah, I agree.
A little frustration.
Yeah, the other biggest news came out yesterday or today.
Was Fed?
Yeah.
Yeah, big news.
Yeah, so Fed finally said goodbye to Joola. They posted about him.
Mhm.
He posted about them.
And I saw Anna Bright say like, oh, like I think we'll miss you or something like that or something. I was like, oh, like I said, obviously Joola has a lot of the top pros. And I mean, I know that definitely is kind of a family.
Yeah, and I mean, they were like, it's been a great 2.5 years. Thank you for everything you've done. You climbed from nobody to #1 singles player in the world. So
Yeah.
and he's undoubtedly that.
Oh,
So-
for sure.
So rumors, Adidas.
I mean, I think it was kind of confirmed. We obviously mentioned on our last podcast that that's what had kind of been the rumor, what had kind of been announced behind the scenes. And then at the Masters, it sounded like, he maybe may be making that announcement, and the announcer kind of beat him to it. And I think like I said, I think it's because it had been talked about online, but
Yeah.
and you could tell he, felt maybe a little bad or didn't quite mean to say it as quickly as he did. But yeah, it seems like it. And like I said, I think one of the big reasons is he's going to probably get a ton of money.
Yeah. It's a huge brand
our friend-
outside of pickleball.
Our friend Ayush reached out to me because he hadn't seen that until now. And I was like, he didn't watch the last podcast.
Yeah, we talked
But
about it.
if he watches this one, I'll give him a shout out because he's just like, oh, this is going to be huge for Adidas. Like, obviously they have a ton of money, massive company. They're going to throw a lot of money into pickleball. While I agree, and they have the resources, and they're not just a tennis brand. I know they're very successful, I believe, in padel.
Yeah.
They haven't been able to figure out pickleball. And just throwing money at something doesn't necessarily mean you're going to make a good product. Case in point, the Metal Bone. One of the best looking paddles
Looks so cool.
and just one of the most overpriced, not good paddles on the market.
Yep.
I had one for a while. I played with it for fun. I also don't think that paddle should be legal by USAP rules. Because in my interpretation, I know like Ronbus ran into this issue with the ripple of the waves of like technically within the rules, you can't have waves on the surface, but obviously the beta got approved. And I also believe it's a similar rule in the USAP rulebook that you can't have removable weights on the outside of a paddle.
Which makes sense.
Obviously no one cared and nothing happened with it, but based off the rules I've read, it doesn't seem like that paddle should have been legal. Not that not many people use it, so it's not that big of an issue. But just case in point, they have a lot of money. I know they put a lot of research and development into that paddle. I like that they tried something. It's just where that weight is.
They'll find that rule whenever Fed starts winning.
Well, hopefully they just don't do it because the weights didn't do anything. They put them too low and they're too light. It's like nothing.
He's got to
Anyways,
use something next week.
I know. Well, that's what's going to be interesting is will his paddle actually, because I've heard, what's his name?
Rafa.
Rafa's, we've heard the metal bone he uses is not a metal bone.
Yeah.
So Adidas might have something.
But it still looks like a metal bone.
Looks like one. And also, if Fed's switching,
yeah,
which is something we'll also get into, he has to be confident in their next paddle because
with the metal bone.
Well, just in general, it has to be something better that's at least similar to the Joola Gen 3S. And the other thing we can highlight real quickly here of something that is getting sent out, the new Franklin paddles.
Yeah.
And I think it's, if you want to just cover what you've seen real quick while I pull this up.
Yeah, I mean, Hayden was using it. JW was using it. Georgia was using it. All their pros were using it. I mean, you said it hits like a rocket.
It sounds like a mod.
Yeah.
And I literally saw that commented under one of the posts of the mod gets delisted just for a new mod to come out.
Yeah. And I mean, Hayden, so Matt Wright challenged it right away. And Hayden was like, everybody's picking on me now that I actually have a paddle I could use.
Yeah, literally, that's up to par with the other power paddles on the market.
He's been dealing with getting Joolas in his face all of last year.
Yeah, because I mean, that Franklin signature paddle, I think it was the Franklin signature, right? It's a good paddle, but it doesn't hit hard.
It's not, it's not a...
Yeah, it's actually a really solid paddle, especially for the price. I think it's like 160, 150, but it's got no power.
The 3S and the Paddleteks, and
it's not a power paddle. Yeah, they hit it like it's a power paddle. Like if we were beyond...
When it's Hayden, yeah,
we were on the receiving end of that flick. We're not getting that back.
AW.
Just standing still there. Oh, man. Gosh. Yeah, I saw a couple of them sitting just on the bench when I was watching the bronze medal match. JW was there with Georgia, and I know a couple people were picking them up. I think C45 paddle. I think that's what I've been seeing.
Yeah,
I know. And
45 or 65, one of the two.
And you said you saw it. It got USAP approval.
I saw it on the actual, the USAP.
Okay, because when I was at the Masters, from what I had heard, it was not USAP approved.
It didn't have the stamp on it.
Okay.
So what I saw, it didn't have the stamp. It had the UPA Pro certified.
Yeah.
But it didn't have a USAP stamp.
Yeah, because that's what I was going to say. The buzz around the Masters was that this paddle was only UPA approved. And it's like, okay, we're rushing paddles again, like similar to the Gen 3S. Again, not that paddle I think should be illegal because obviously it hits softer and it doesn't break like the mod or the original Gen 3s. But it was just interesting that the UPA paddle was out first. But also, obviously, they're a backer of...
They needed pros.
Yeah, they needed
paddles with pros.
Yeah, exactly. So it also makes sense maybe this time around why that happened.
Yeah.
But...
Cool. Get into some paddles?
I think we got one more thing.
So
two things that kind of happened. And this is very brief. We can go back to Fed. Fed had one of the coolest shots I think I've ever seen against Jame in the final. And I wish I had stayed because I was at Championship Sunday. I got there early. I got some cool footage with my drone. Like I said, I was courtside, and I left as soon as doubles ended. Okay. So, because the wind was picking up, I'm like, I had a long drive back, and I lost an hour coming from California. I'm like, I just want to get home. I want to be in my own bed. But when I saw Jame made the final, I was like, I love watching Jame play. I mean, I was watching him kind of on his breakout at the Desert Ridge. Yeah. And I think it was against Fed, which was also kind of Fed's start to his run last year. Oh my gosh, those two are so fun to watch. And John, his personality is hilarious. And like I said, I got to watch him at the bronze medal match, but singles he's just so crafty and quick.
He's so good.
But there is this ball that just looked like the point was over. And Fed just no look behind the back, curled ATP. That might be shot of the year, and it's the first tournament of the year. I don't see that getting beat.
No, it's crazy.
Absolutely absurd. And it was funny. And I don't remember where I saw it. I'm going to put it up. So hopefully that's the correct source. And I do not know the person's name unless they're the ones that posted it. But we saw an insane behind the back ATP from the kitchen that was going viral just on Instagram that I had sent you. And I thought that was one of the coolest shots I had seen. And then Fed does it in a match in singles. Yeah. And then win gold. It's just absolutely crazy. Like I said, it's going to be really intriguing to see him with his new paddle. I'm very happy that he's going to be getting a signature paddle. Like I said, I'm assuming that's obviously one of the big reasons he's going to Adidas. I'll be very excited to get with that paddle.
For sure.
And also pairing up with, like I said, our friend CJ at I think the next tournament.
Yeah.
After Australia. which a couple people are going over there for.
Yeah.
And then I know Jack Sock, pairing up with one of the top tennis pros, I think.
Yeah.
That'll be interesting to watch.
That'll be fun.
Yeah.
Either way, it'll be fun. I wonder what paddle he'll use.
I would love to go to Australia, but I've already been, and that's a long flight.
Yeah.
Maybe next year.
I wonder what paddle he'll use for that.
Yeah.
I don't know who sponsors him in tennis. So
yeah, that's true. Probably Selkirk, since he's playing with Sock.
yeah, he might use Selkirk because of Sock. He might.
Yola likes the tennis people now too, so maybe they'll throw him a paddle. I don't know. It'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Like I said, we'll see that next week.
Maybe he's sponsored by Franklin.
Yeah, true.
He'll use
Yeah,
he'll
maybe.
use the 45.
Yeah. Gosh, that paddle hits hard.
Yeah.
That paddle hits hard.
Excited.
I'm excited
to hit it.
I'm excited to see more of that. All right. I think that's all of the news from the Masters and just kind of the pro circuit. Let's hop into some gear.
Yeah.
So I got this the day it got in here. Day it arrived in Arizona. This is the Project Flamingo, which we have been teasing for 2 months.
3 months.
3 months probably.
Something like-
I've been using it since before Worlds.
Yeah, beginning of November, right?
Yeah, because I know I've been saying, I'm like, trust me, guys, this is not a Series 3, which is the paddle I've been using and showing that is literally
Still says Series 3.
a Series 3. This is a Series 3, but obviously finally got the design. Like I said, it's very colorful, very loud. I do have an overgrip on this right now.
The handle is pink, though.
The handle is pink on this one. There also will be another version that will be a pink edge guard, probably with a blue grip. Those will not be launching when this one does.
Blue grip or white grip?
I thought it was a blue grip. I mean, they changed. They also changed.
They changed a lot.
They changed the grips a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is the new Proton paddle. Like I said, that we've been teasing for a very long time. I will have a review out probably a day or two before the release. We were told the 15th. It might be being pushed back to the 20th. I will be posting updates on my Instagram. If you follow me over there, that's at the JJ Pickleball. I posted a picture of the pink one and this one that I'm holding.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been using it for a week now, basically. They were handing out a lot of these to the juniors at the Masters, and all of the pros, including pros that aren't Proton pros, were using this at the Masters.
Yeah.
Daesky won bronze with this.
Christian won silver
Yeah.
with it in singles.
But I love this paddle.
Yeah.
Like I said, is it anything that we haven't seen before? No. It's like, it fits a need in the market that I think I've been searching for, and I think you have been as well, where
Paddleteks with a bigger sweet spot.
Paddleteks with a bigger sweet spot that doesn't hit as hard as a 3S or maybe even a Paddleteks. I mean, this thing,
And I think we're going to see a lot of these.
yeah, there's going to be a lot coming out like this. And like I said, Proton just might be the first one out that fits this need, and they're positioning themselves in a good spot. Also, not that maybe I'll put B-roll on this, but this is the first paddle to market with the UPA stamp and the USAP stamp. I also have been told that Proton is the only company as of now that can do 5 colors on carbon fiber. So that kind of leads to some of the design. So like I said, whether there's another company that can come out and do that, but to my knowledge, they're the only ones.
They're the only ones that can, or the only ones that have? Okay.
Well, currently can, because they're the only ones.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But anyways, I'll have a review out on this. Like I said, it hits very similar to my prototype. So a lot of my thoughts, if you've been DMing me, are the same. I think it feels a little bit more solid and has slightly more power than the prototype I hit.
I think it's a little heavier.
Yeah. The other thing is, like, my prototype was very head light. This one feels a lot more balanced. I did get a couple of these, and I already told you of the swing weights.
Yeah.
The one that I was handed first was the heaviest swing weight of the group. This one is the lightest. And when I threw my 2 grams on the side of this, because I did the same setup as my prototype, my hands were so much slower. Like, it was an issue, because I mean, that's a lot of weight I was throwing. And then also with the edge guard tape, switch to the lighter one. This thing's a beast. I feel so fast with it. Feels better than my prototype. Extremely happy with it. And yeah, I love the design. It might not be for everybody because it is loud, but I've always been a loud person in golf. I always dressed in very bright colors. So I'm a fan of it. We'll see if I end up sticking with the pink grip. Yeah, I might go more neutral in that. Yeah. But yeah, it's here. It's coming soon. I told you it was coming, but like I said, there was some delays with shipping.
Yeah.
They got stuck in Nam and Nam in California for a bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, really, really excited for some people to get their hands on this. Like I said, I know we've been talking about it for a long time, but I really do think this is going to find a pretty big audience and a lot of people are going to be happy with it.
Yeah, I agree.
Also, just wanted to briefly show this. We mentioned that there was going to be new designs for the Series 1. There's nothing different about these in terms of the internals. It still has the nanotech face. It's the same core. They updated the design. There might be some signature paddles on the way with names on them of their pros, but these are just two of the colors. I know there's also an orange one and a pink one.
Yeah. But I like these designs a lot more. A lot cleaner.
I'm in between. I definitely think it's cleaner. I definitely like it. I really love the red one, but now part of me is missing the original one. I don't know why.
Yeah.
These will probably grow on me more, but nothing too crazy. Just wanted to highlight them because I know some of these have been popping up in the wilds. The local tournament in Mesa that was held, I know some people were given these.
Yeah.
And some of the pros were using them a couple weeks ago.
Yep. I think Donald might have used one of those in singles.
Yeah, I mean, I know he loves obviously the Series 1.
Yep.
Yeah. Those are on the way as well. Some other news, shockingly. And again, I'm rooting for Ronbus. I have nothing against Ronbus. They got approved.
Yeah, wrong.
That was the one thing of kind of some of the news that we were breaking of. We said that the mod and the gearbox were going to get delisted. Had no idea that the Proton were going to get delisted. That one came out of nowhere.
Yeah, that was crazy.
I had heard about the gearbox a couple weeks back and then the mod about a couple weeks before.
Yeah.
So I was pretty confident in saying those, even though I was a little bit reserved in saying rumor. But that is official. The mod and the Gearbox Pro Power, only the elongated, are gone July 1st, as well as the Proton paddles. Proton did just come out with some new paddles. They look nice. They do not hit nearly as hard. But we got the email, and USAP did approve the Ripple. Now, they only approved the R1, I believe, as of now.
As of now, yeah.
I don't think the R2 got approval, which will be interesting because from some people I've heard, and just speculation, I wonder if the R2 gets more dwell time.
Yeah.
And because if it gets more dwell time, it might be failing the deflection or PB core, I should say. I don't know. Like I said, that's pure speculation. I've reached out to Ronbus. I'm going to do an update video as I hear more, but I am happy that something got approved. He may have altered it. So some of the thoughts in the past of the beta and even some of the reviewers with the updated model that came out like a month ago when the release was supposed to happen in December.
Yeah.
Some of those thoughts might change because he may have been able to change something in the core to lower the power slightly, but the R1's coming.
Yeah.
I can't remember what the release date is. I think I might pop it up on the B-roll wise because I was sent over the email. But exciting stuff. Like I said, I'm happy for Ronbus. They've been kind of getting screwed at the goal line
for a year.
The last year and a half with the original Ronbus Ripple 16 millimeter and then the 14 with these rules changes, literally at the finish line for both of them. So I do feel bad for them. I am happy that something got approved. I just really hope it's not as hot as some of the Ripples we've seen because we banned the mod just to approve something just as hot in some of the readings and, like I said, numbers I've run. Maybe. It'll be interesting. Definitely not a broken mod, but I mean a mod that's not broken, yeah. So it'll be interesting. Just want to give an update on that. Like I said, I've just been hitting a little bit more with it again since it's been coming up, and eventually, like I said, we're going to get a production model, hopefully. But yeah, that's where that stands. Cool. Do you want to jump into what you got?
Just another quick thing. This is just a TKO. It's nothing new or anything, but they released these limited edition pink edge guard ones. I played with the Magnus for a while. I like the pink. I think it's cool. I don't think they made a ton of them.
Yeah.
I think there's just a few of them, but so go grab them while you can. But love this. I've actually only ever played with the regular TKO. I haven't played with the CX yet, so excited to play with this one and see what they have.
Obviously, we
coming
know
up in
our,
the future.
our friend Brick has been a fan of the 14.7 CX for a while. And then our other buddy, Steven, he really loved that when it came out. Because the main difference, like I said, with that one, which I think I've told you, is they do have a little weight in the side, as well as the handle being longer. So it should hit a little bit harder. Plus, you have more leverage. But yeah, I'm excited for you. I'm excited to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I mean, the handle's 5.75, so the other one's 5.25. So I think it'll be definitely more up our alley than the other ones.
And then let's jump into another one, which was one of my favorite paddles of last year. And in my top 5 videos of the year, I quite literally said, oh, this paddle would be higher on the list if they made this shape. And a couple days after I posted that video, they reached out to me saying, hey, the Pulse X is coming, and which is that shape. And I got it in the mail.
I think it was the next day.
I
mean, you might have been editing the video when they sent the
Anyways,
like it was right after.
I am so happy this thing exists. I loved the original Pickleball Apes Pulse line. I really like the S just because it was the closest shape to what I was used to. I know the V, I see them everywhere. A lot of people really love that paddle because the sweet spot's great. Obviously, it has a good amount of pop and power.
S is the hybrid, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they love that. I've seen so many people with that paddle.
I know.
So,
don't see too many of the E, which is the ultra elongated with the long handle, narrow face. I enjoyed it because of the reach.
Yeah, definitely for a select few, but people like it.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it was one of those things of it's like it probably was my favorite to just mess around with, but I don't have the confidence to use that in a tournament. I could never take it. But the easiest comparison I will say to this paddle, because I've been telling Graham this for a while also, because I had been on the look for a Paddleteks with a bigger sweet spot, which, like I said, the Project Flamingo, pretty confident it has fit that role, and we're going to see some other paddles in the next couple of months that'll also fill that role. But this paddle felt the role for me of a Thrive Azul, but in a elongated shape.
Yeah.
This feels very similar to an Azul, has very similar power, but it's the shape I most commonly use. I love hybrid paddles, but this just standard elongated shape is just always what I'm drawn to. The handles, like I said, feels great. But I've been messing around with this a lot. I really do enjoy it. So I'm happy. I'm happy, like I said, they made this because, like I said, this was a great paddle, and I do think it was slightly alienated with the fact they just didn't have kind of a traditional elongated paddle. So be on the lookout for this. You want to go into your little unboxing?
Can do that now, or do you want
I want to do that one now.
Okay, cool.
Just forewarning, we still can't talk about it, but we're allowed to do this. I got confirmation.
We got a box.
Graham got a box. I've already opened my box. I've had my box for a while, but
he doesn't get to do this because he already opened his box.
Yeah. I wanted to do a true unboxing, and I didn't feel right with me doing it.
Where's the box from?
Little company called Carbon.
Little company, yeah. Just a tiny one.
I wonder what this paddle could be.
Hey, maybe it's a bag.
It could be a bag.
Could be a bag. They have some pretty good bags.
We got some sunglasses.
Yeah, they didn't put sunglasses in this box.
They really taped this thing up.
This one
good.
does not want to come off. It's just this last piece. There it is. You know,
I'm leaving all of this in. I'm not editing this.
a box cutter would be nice.
It would have been.
Keys.
I should have got you one.
I shouldn't have had keys. Uh-oh. Got one.
Two.
Three.
Anything else in here? No.
Nope. That's it. I think so. There's no bag this time.
No bag. Oh my God, it's a paddle.
Oh my God.
It's so funny because I don't have these paddle covers. But yeah.
I think you should be getting this.
For everyone asking, a little unboxing of these paddles.
I don't know what they're called, but
I don't know what they're called either. I think it blurred as we got closer. but you want to at least open, open one of them. Like I said, it's an unboxing. Let's just show.
Yeah.
I actually don't know where mine is. Looks good.
Yeah. Looks very good.
Comes in 3 shapes. They're 1X, they're 2X, and they're 3X.
Oh.
The one thing this I can talk about because this is the same as their previous models. Their 3X is not a hybrid shape. Yeah. There's like I want that to be known. Is that
Their
these the
3X
two
is
here?
their 3X is just an elongated paddle.
So this is their 1 and 3X. One of these is a hybrid. And again, hybrids can have flat tops, but hybrids are usually less than 16.5 and more than 16.2. And this measures at 16.5.
Yeah, so this is just the regular Selkirk Invicta shape. It's an elongated paddle with a 5.25 handle. And then this is the Perseus shape.
Yep.
It's a little different than the Magnus because the Magnus is just a 5-inch handle, not 5.25. But
yeah. And again, Magnus, 3X shape, Perseus, 1X shape.
Yeah.
That's been the same across their previous line. That was something that I got a little confused with when I did my unboxing of these paddles.
They did. Can we say they changed the shape?
Go for it.
They changed the shape of the 2X. It's more like the Scorpius now. It's a little longer than the Scorpius, I think. I don't know if we haven't measured it, but
I'm going to say this. It looks like a Scorpius with our unboxing. Just to be safe.
Yeah.
It looks like a Scorpius shape.
Looks like a Scorpius shape. In the past, I know their Power Series, those are, the handle's like 4.75. Like it's
gotcha.
Super short. So
awesome.
Yeah. Cool unboxing from Carbon. Thank you, Brody.
Yeah. Thank you, Brody. We'll share more when we're allowed to.
Hopefully soon.
Now let's jump into some shoes that we've been sent. So Graham actually was the hookup on these. And this is from Winner's Edge. They are an official pickleball company, pickleball specific shoe. I know that's been kind of a hot topic in the pickleball space of like kind of some brands and clothing that are becoming pickleball specific. This is a shoe that is made specifically for pickleball. I've worn these probably for about 2 weeks now, outside and inside. I've been tracking the amount of hours and they've been holding up pretty good.
Yeah.
Most of my shoes, and I just wear usually Nikes in the past. I don't rip through anything. It's just the only thing that happens is for me, it's the toe drag. I constantly drag my toes, just with sliding. Part of it's from basketball and part of it's also just staying low. I'm pretty tall. And just, it's me keeping my balance. There's a little bit of wear, but most of the grip's still on these. They're pretty comfortable. They are a little bit warm. I know some other reviewers have said that. There's an internal sock on these, which I don't know if I love or not. I already wear socks that have a tab on the back so that they don't slip down. The golfer in me, I've just always done that because I always wear no-show socks. And I didn't want that dropping down. They obviously kind of have their own version of that. So I found that a little annoying for myself, but no one else would run into that. I like the design. I know they improved the shoelaces. Originally, they were pretty long. Now they don't drag or you don't have to double knot them. But yeah, the rubber on this has been really, really holding up. The only other thing I noticed is I felt like I was up slightly higher. And I usually wear Nike Vaporlights, which are pretty flat, nothing crazy, very light shoes. But I definitely have been enjoying my time. I'm going to probably be deep diving into these a little bit more. Like I said, I want to put more hours on them, see how they last.
Yeah.
But just wanted to highlight these. Thank you, team, for sending these over. I know Graham got a pair also, because you're the one that, I
got it. I haven't been able to wear mine yet since I haven't really been playing, but
sick and travel.
It's on the list of, there's a lot of things on the list that I got to get done.
It's been a busy month. And like I said, it was not a good time for me to fall behind. And so this is they're coming out with 2, which I learned today. This is the new Selkirk Court Strike shoe, not the Pro model, just the regular. And comes in 3 colors. I chose the gray. These retail for $99.99, which is a pretty good price because I'm sure they'll run sales occasionally. I haven't had the chance to wear these, obviously. I just got them. These are releasing, I believe, today, the day we're posting this. So check these out on their website if you just want to look more into the specs and everything. It does show there's a warranty. I'm assuming that's 6 months.
Yeah.
But I'm more happy with these because I know they released lab versions of some pickleball shoes.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually liked them, but just they were only in red and black. And I just kind of wanted more neutral. And yeah, I wish they just had a solid white that had no other colors, but gray is close enough. But very happy with how these look. Again, I'm going to be wearing these more. Just wanted to highlight that these were coming out today. So head over to Selkirk's website if you're interested.
Yeah.
Also, something else that came out recently that I've been using a little bit is the kitchen sling bag.
Yeah.
I have some thoughts on this one. So I absolutely love my court. Do you want to hold that? Yeah. Absolutely love the court caddy. I took this to the Masters. I use this at Worlds. It's been my daily. I do have a tour bag. I'm testing some other bags, but this is just kind of the everyday bag because it's brand agnostic. It fits 6 paddles. It's convenient. It holds my larger water bottle and it holds pickleballs in a nice convenient case.
Yep.
And you can use it as a work backpack. Like I know, like I said, you're getting one shortly and you're going to be having your laptop in there all the time.
For sure.
I reached out because I actually really like sling bags. I have a lot of use for them. My girlfriend and I actually she took me to Electric Pickle, which she reached out to me that just recently opened in Arizona. Very cool venue. If you're in Arizona, definitely give it a look. Hopefully maybe on a warmer day. It was a little cold in the evening, but food was good. Atmosphere was great. Courts are awesome. It was busy too. But just some quick thoughts on this. I'm going to be releasing a kitchen video, which also they're changing their name to Forward, as KTCHN is trademarked and he didn't get it himself. The logo will also be changing, but in the meantime, bags are staying the same. Very happy with it. He slightly changed the material on the outside to be a little bit rougher, which I like. This bag has the same rough bottom that the court caddy has, which is really cool. So it won't wear out. It doesn't stand necessarily the best. It does have the same hook that the court caddy has, which I loved. It holds, I put 3 paddles in here. You probably could squeeze 4. I got, I think, a Friday paddle in here right now that my girlfriend is using and that I have also used. But
love that paddle.
Love that paddle. There's also an internal zipper on the inside so you can store some valuables. There's one water bottle pouch and also some room for attachments and accessories, as well as also a hidden slot on the back, which the court caddy also has. So I love everything about this except 2 things. One, not a huge fan of the cross body strap. I like my sling bags just the fact that I was a kid that a lot of time in school I was wearing my backpack with one strap. I don't know if I thought it was cool. I don't know. Just convenient. You throw it on, you throw it off. You don't have to do the awkward whatever. So I love sling bags. My first pickleball bag was the Franklin bag. And it was a sling bag. It fit 3 paddles. It was everything I needed. Had my phone pouch. Great.
I think that was my first bag too.
I just really, I don't, and I mean, I know there's reasons other people might like it. I just don't like, so basically you put this over whatever, and then this straps it in. And I get it because then it's stable. I just have never been a person I'm comfortable. It's not going to fall off my shoulder. Just one strapping it. And the problem is I feel like I'd have to cut this to get it off.
Yeah.
And I don't obviously want to do that because this is a really nice bag. So I kind of wish that this just wasn't here.
Yeah.
I'm going to be interested to see if I'm in the minority with that. That's just something for my personal use case. The only other issue I have with this bag is the price.
Yeah.
And last I saw, I think it was on sale for $170. That's not terrible. But this bag being 200, and I understand the materials, this is extremely premium. That's not to discredit it. It's also a very well-designed bag. Like I said, obviously I have a gripe with the strap, but it's there for a reason. But the issue with the price for me is this being $200 and the Court Caddy being $300. The Court Caddy holds so much more, and for $100 more, I feel like the Court Caddy is just a better value if you want to call it a value, because it's extremely expensive bag.
Yeah.
Obviously, we see a ton of them, so people do enjoy them, but I don't want to be over here saying like, oh, buy a $300 bag because it's a great value. It's like the value is that it'll last and it's high quality, and if you value that, great bag for you.
For sure.
But it's just like, I feel like this should be like a 150, or maybe say it retails for 170 and then it's on sale occasionally for 150.
Yeah.
Like I feel like at most this should be half.
Yeah.
But I get it. Like I said, a lot goes into research and design. I know the materials are expensive, so I don't know what his limitations are there. But that's just that's my one pushback on it, is I just feel like it's a little bit on the pricier side. And he may, like I said, that might be why we've been seeing it at $179, I think. But
yeah,
I'll have, like I said, more in-depth thoughts of my kitchen review. That should be coming out shortly. I think it's being restocked, the Court Caddy, on the 15th.
Okay.
I believe. Which also should be
tomorrow.
When yours is getting shipped. I think today's the 13th.
Yeah, but tomorrow.
Yeah, so tomorrow for the audience. So be on the lookout for that. Like I said, I'll be dropping a review on the restock, and I know yours is getting shipped out then as well.
Cool.
But yeah, very happy with this bag. Like I just said, might be like $20 to $30 more than what I would have priced it at, but I'm also not the one making it and investing in everything to the R&D. So I'm not my company. And he's a very smart guy. So
yeah, he's a good guy.
He's a very, very nice gentleman as well. Like I said, very supportive, and said he made one of my favorite products of last year. So that Court Caddy has been one of the best. And I bought my Court Caddy, like one of my best investments for sure.
Very excited for the Ranger as well that he's making right now.
The backpack. Yeah. That's one. See, that's where, how's pricing going to work?
Yeah.
See what I mean? Like $250, I guess.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting. All right.
See.
And we don't know anything on that. That's just us speculating.
Yeah, just from the prototypes I've seen, they just looked at.
Oh, no. I'm more mean pricing tiers wise. Like I said, this is at 200 and the Court Caddy's at 300. And that's a backpack, which is larger than this and smaller than the other one. You'd think 250.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right. Like I said, we'll see that when it actually comes out.
Cool. We got one last thing?
Yeah,
one last
set of paddles. So Honolulu Pickleball has been busy.
Yeah.
And
I know we were busy.
Yeah. We're going to put these to the side first. We're going to talk about this.
Cool.
So I'm going to be dropping a review on this. You know, I'm not, and same with you, not a huge fan of wide body or standard shape paddles. I was pleasantly surprised with the J2TI. And I'm not going to lie, it might be because it's a titanium face or polyester thread base.
Well, the handle's longer too.
Yeah.
It's a great paddle. I mean, I think for me, it's hard because I like heavy paddles.
Yeah. You would need some weight.
I just lose the benefits. Like I'm giving up reach.
Yeah.
And then I'm loading it with weight. So the swing weight's not staying low.
I mean, the one thing is your sweet spot.
Yeah, the sweet spot is good.
Because it's already good as is stock. And if you throw all of your weight on it, the sweet spot's going to feel amazing.
Yeah, sweet spot's great. And I mean,
just the
titanium
face is so good. But it probably is the longer handle.
Yeah.
Because the one issue I have with this is power. Yeah. Which has been a common subject. I will have released my shapeshifter review finally a month late, the day that this podcast goes up. So tomorrow. And that was one of the things I kind of highlighted was great paddle, but it's a control paddle.
Yeah.
This is all court control.
Yeah.
And
I agree with that.
Again, I played so well with it. Like I played high level games with this. I was playing in some 4.5s, 5.0s, and I was hanging in just fine. Obviously, there's a couple flicks or putaways where I'm like, I just need a little bit more, which something might be coming, which we can also tease with the other paddle back there. But if you're interested in the J3 shape, like give it a try. Yeah. This is a very good paddle. Very, very solid. A lot of people, like I said, around my parks and also at my club have been asking about it. They hit it. They loved it. And like I said, just the titanium is so good from Honolulu right now.
Yep.
They're just absolutely killing it. Now to jump into what a lot of people are calling the ugliest paddle now in pickleball, the J4. And I had been using the J4 Pro. This is the J4 KC. This thing is a pizza pan.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. And I'm not going to lie, I don't think it's that bad looking. It's funky looking, but I'm just saying, like, to me, bad looking is not shape, it's design.
Yeah.
And even though I'm not a huge fan of a gray edge guard with a gray grip, like I know some people don't love the face of these paddles, especially since they're all the same, so it's hard to differentiate them.
Yeah.
I don't think it's an issue. It's plain. They've got their logo scheme. It's whatever. The sweet spot on this thing is huge. Absolutely massive.
Wasn't the twist weight like high 8s?
It was, yeah, just something stupid. And again, it better be if you're going to have it this wide.
Yeah.
If I do remember correctly, it wasn't too much more though than the J3, which was interesting. And it's like, okay, then just go with the J3. Yeah. But I was actually pleasantly surprised by this paddle. I was expecting to hate it. Yeah. And I actually played pretty well with it. Like I just said, I think blocks, rolls, it's like dinking. It's easy. Now, there are 2 instances where this paddle is terrible for me. The one would be the same issue for you, and that's the reach. Yeah. I hit so many balls off the very top of this edge guard, or even whiffing. Which again, it's like, oh, why are you hitting the ball up there? As I've mentioned in my reviews, I like elongated paddles for a reason. I hit my ball, like pickleballs, in the high center of paddles. That's where a lot of power of my paddles are. It's where I have it weighted, and that's also why I like paddles with high balance points. Yeah, for that exact reason.
You hit the ball on a elongated paddle up here.
Yeah. And it's like, look, that's like at the J4
you're hitting
KC.
the edge guard every time.
So it's just, that's my one issue. Like I said, my playability long-term with it. Yep. The only other one too, which was something I didn't realize till after with this shape that is a massive issue, is on blocks and like defense, like digs. Mm-hmm. When you go down, because usually you're going at an angle, like if I'm reaching for my left foot, which is where a lot of people will target, that's not a lot of surface area for that ball to hit. Yeah. Versus most paddles, you're going to have at least a little bit more of a rounded edge, or a completely rounded edge with a Hyperion or a hybrid shape. Yeah. Or in general, it's like you're going to be able to get more of the paddle down. And because it's square and it's not like really rounded off at all, it's like the corner's really pronounced. So that was one thing that I did not realize until I played with it, that I'm like, this is kind of a design flaw. Yeah. Now, obviously, the people I would recommend this paddle to are those, I would recommend this paddle to, I don't want to say beginners in terms of like an advanced player can't use this. Yeah. But the benefit of this paddle is the sweet spot. Yeah. And if you struggle to hit the sweet spot, or you're older, or you play the dink game, the soft game, you're just starting, like, this is a phenomenal paddle. Like, the sweet spot's hard to miss on this thing. And the performance, like, surface type feels great. Like I said, I was using the Pro. Like I said, I'm sure this will come in every other variation that they have. Yep. But even though I don't think it's the best design paddle, I do not think it's the worst thing we've seen that some people have been hating on. I know you're still not a huge fan of it, but
I'm not a huge fan because it's just not what I would use. Yeah. But I mean, yeah, I could say there's probably worse shaped paddles.
I just think there's worse looking paddles. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. And like I said, the other thing is, definitely not. And I mean, the other thing is too, it's like people have been joking about making a square paddle for a while. It's like, at least he made it. Yeah. Now we have one to test. We got to see what the twist weight is.
Like we said, it's good. Like it's solid.
It's solid. It has its market. Whether, I don't know how big that market is, but there's definitely a group of pickleball players I would recommend this paddle to. Again, not very large, but anyone starting off, which I guess that would be a large group, but like people that are actively playing, I don't know. But anyways, definitely something cool. Like I said, Honolulu's coming out with, and I honestly didn't hate it. Yeah. Not my favorite of any of, like, out of all the paddles we're showing, it's my least favorite, but I like most of Honolulu's stuff. Like, I mean, they're making and I mean, like I said, they're just changing shapes.
Yeah, they make good stuff.
And if you want to grab the newbies that just came in today, actually, and I got to we were a little late to recordings. I wanted to make sure I hit at least one of them because I had been hearing a lot. The
J2I.
Yeah, a J2I and a J2K. But there's a little plus sign, which I know some other reviewers have gotten their hands on them this week as well. I saw a couple other people got them today. But this is Honolulu's Gen 3 paddle. And I know Jam over at, like I said, the owner of Honolulu Pickleball, has had some concerns and he's been voicing some worries. And I know he's going to be very transparent about these paddles. I only hit the J2TI Plus. My first go around, I don't think he's going to have the issues that he's really concerned with.
Yeah.
And that's with this paddle. Obviously, it's a Gen 3. It's going to break down a little bit. It's going to get hotter. My first serve with this thing, I think I told you, I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
It dipped hard and it looked fast. Is it anywhere near a mod? No. Is it near the Flamingo even? Maybe. I don't know. I would need to see them side by side. But given how fast it dipped, I don't think it had the power.
Yeah.
Now, is it going to get hotter? Definitely. So we're gonna put more time into this. Like I said, you'll take probably one of these back and we'll try to break these in and see how much they change.
Yeah.
Maybe get these on a radar gun. But again, Jam's innovating. He's just always ahead of the curve, trying to make sure he's whatever material, whatever shape you want, whatever core you want, he's releasing it. He's got whatever option. He's also coming out, I know, with some budget paddles, which aren't even going to be that much different than his original. And these already are pretty budget friendly, which is crazy. Sure. But these are something, like I said, that are going to be on the horizon that I just wanted to kind of highlight.
Yeah, I'm excited for these.
I'm sure Graham will have some more thoughts, like I said, because these literally just came.
Yeah, I haven't hit them yet at all.
So. And you've had a little hiatus, so
yeah, get
back into our little reviewing sessions. But
yeah, I'm excited for those.
Yeah, definitely cool.
For the J7.
I'm J7TI and then a J7TI Plus. Jam, that's all we want. That's all TI Plus. Graham and I want are those two paddles.
That'd be sick.
Because like I said, the J7 Pro, which is up there, oh my gosh, I've been using that so much.
Yeah, I've been using that too.
Like I said, it just hits a little harder, and then also this surface type. I mean, it's so good. Yeah. It's interesting. It's like I said, it's interesting because I know a lot of people thought Kevlar obviously came and went, and then people were like, oh, titanium, it's going to be kind of similar fat. I think it's
so good.
Like I said, it feels, it's a better Kevlar.
Yeah.
I like the feel of Kevlar, but like polyester threads or titanium is, in my opinion, a better Kevlar. It has more dwell time and it feels so good. But I think that's all we got.
Yeah, that's everything.
Little unboxing, some news, and
new name.
Yeah. Dink Tank Podcast. Episode 6. I don't even know if we said that at the beginning.
It is the episode 6.
Yeah. Anyways, thank you all for watching. We hope you enjoyed. We'll be back next week.
Thank you, guys.